right, everyone, this is Tim with the Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk entertainment. It's another rare Saturday show, early Saturday morning show. Why? Well, Patrick Graham, Viva Las Vegas, has jumped over to the Las Vegas Raiders, joining his old buddy Josh McDaniels in the same position that he had with the Giants. This is kind of a little bit of a shocker. I think a lot of us thought, or most of us thought, Patrick Graham was coming back. I would say it's an unexpected move, to say the least. I think that after he seemed to be passed over for some positions, that head coaching positions, that we all just assumed that he was coming back. And we, of course, retained the special teams coach. We hired Kafka. And we kind of just hoped that we had all three coordinators in place after the Vikings passed on Graham. And this one kind of came out of left field. It really did. It was, I want to say it was a little bit shocking, because if anything, you thought he would go to Pittsburgh if he was to leave. But I think all indications was that he was coming back. But then to jump over with his old buddy Josh McDaniels, I mean, it's a good move. I mean, it's a lateral move for Graham. I think that he just felt that maybe he couldn't, with everything, the baggage that comes along with the Joe Judge stigma, maybe he just felt like he wanted to leave New York. Graham, of course, defense was 13th overall in 2020, but then they were 25th in the rankings last season, so they fell down exponentially. The Raiders defense actually was pretty funny, was 19th in 2021, jumping up from 30th in 2022, or I should say 2020. So, I mean, like I said, Graham's defense was not great last year, but you know what? I mean, he also had a terrible offense in front of him. And sometimes when you have a terrible offense and you're on the field, more than you think you should be, you wear down a little bit. But actually, if you look at the time of possession between the Giants and their opponents, it wasn't that really much of a difference. It wasn't that big of a difference. I just think sometimes, like I've said before, the league adjusts. The league the personnel, the offense coordinators in the league after the 2020 season said that they didn't know what Graham was calling. They couldn't figure it out. And I said in 2021, it was going to have to be more of a decent defensive versatility instead of a defensive substitution, because the league was going to adjust, and they did. But it's a pretty big loss for the Giants. I mean, especially since you assume that the coordinators' positions were all wrapped up. And I'm sure Dable and Schoen aren't too ecstatic about it. But then the question is going to be now, where do the Giants go from here? What do they do now? Where do they look? Do they go for someone like Don Martindale, also known as the Wink? He's been in the league for a while. He started up. He was with Notre Dame and Cincinnati and Western Illinois, Western Kentucky as a defensive coordinator. So he was the linebackers coach with the Raiders from 2004, I think, to 2008. He was also that filled in position with the Broncos. He was defensive coordinator for the Broncos in 10. He worked for the Raiders as a linebacker coach from 12 to 17, and then he was with the defensive coordinator from 18 to 21. He was also part of the championship team. I think he would be a good guy to come in. I think he would be a nice fit for the organization. I think they parted the Ravens didn't part ways back in January 21st, 2022, of course. So he would be easy. He would be easy to sign because he doesn't have a job. I think he would bring a nice attacking style defense. I think if you take a look at what not this year, but what they did last year, in reference to the personnel they had, they actually had an excellent. The Baltimore's defense excelled in 2020. They took a step back because of personnel in 2021 and injuries and a few other things. But I think Wink would be a nice fit to come in. I think he could fill the coordinator position, bring more of an attacking style defense to the Giants. The only problem is we got to get him some guys. We got to. The cupboard's, at least the cupboard's not bare on defense. It's not as depleted as our offense is. But you know what? I think Wink would be a good start. I think he'd be a good guy to come into the Giants and teach to work with the staff. He's been in the league for a while. They had a great run defense. Baltimore did, but like I said, it was just one of those scenarios that I think it was just time for Harbaugh and Wink to move on. I mean, if you take a look at the Ravens back in like 2012, they had an uber aggressive defense. And in this season, they kind of struggled. They lost 3 of the 4 starters in the secondary. Well, it was Humphrey Peters and what's his name, Elliott, to season-ending injuries. And then they had troubles. You know, I'm not gonna lie, they had trouble stopping people late, but so did the Giants. They had problems forcing turnovers and preventing big plays, kind of like what the Giants did. I mean, so, you know, like I said, it's the only wrinkle with Wink, get a Rip Van Rinkwin. I'm sorry. The only wrinkle with Wink is like he is a little bit colorful. So I think he would fill in nicely with the New York media, but he's also he's a colorful character. So I don't know how that would fly with the new philosophy over in MetLife. But like I said, he would probably be my choice. There's other choices out there, but you know, you got to wish Patrick Graham all the luck. When he was here, he did a good job coaching up the defense. He did a good job of getting the most out of guys that he had, and he did not have the most uberly talented team, or I should say unit. But they always did. You got to say, they always did play hard for him. They never quit. Well, sometimes they did quit a little bit. Let's all be honest. But who didn't quit on the 2021 season a little bit? But you know what? He did a great job when he was here. He's going to be, I think personally, he's going to be sorely missed. But you know what? He's moving on to a new adventure. And it's Viva Las Vegas for Patrick Graham. So you got to wish him well. And let's see what the Giants do. And let's see who they can come up with. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could maybe subscribe, ring that bell, that'd be awesome.